got a special guest to get us back going tonight. With this young man and I have known each other since first grade, and I've followed his career throughout. I used to be the play-by-play voice when he was at American University, and now he, after stops at Georgetown, Binghamton, and recently at the University of Maryland, my good friend Kevin Broadus is now the head coach of the Bears of Morgan State University. Kevin, welcome to the Roundball Report.
Coach.
And Jimmy Fly Hellmann is going to be here with us because he wants to get some insight from the coach because he does quite a few Morgan State games.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Pleasure meeting you.
Likewise.
Now, Kevin, congratulations. We were talking in the green room. You're taking over from another friend of mine, Todd Bozeman. And talk about the challenges that you face and your outlook coming from a Power 5 conference to coaching at Morgan in the MEAC.
Well, first of all, Todd's a very good friend of mine, still is. And when I was going through this process, talking to him, I was trying to decide if I wanted to stay at the high level being an assistant, or was it time for me to come back, being a head coach. And when I made that decision, it was time. He walked me through the difference in the two jobs I was dealing with, Howard and Morgan State. Mm-hmm. And talking to him and Coach Nickelberry, who had been in the league, they kind of guided me. It was a consensus from their standpoint which job was the better job to deal with, and it was Morgan State.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't know. I mean, I live actually closer to Howard, mm-hmm. and I thought it would be a better fit for me at the time. And then when you go through this process, you don't know what you're dealing with until you get into the process. Mm-hmm. And that's when I figured out, you know what, they're right for me personally.
Right.
Right.
So what are your building blocks in terms of what you're expecting to do to lay the foundation for future success?
Well, I'm going to give Coach Bozeman a lot of the credit. He's set the foundation. Mm-hmm. Now we have to build around. Everyone speaking when I came in was saying you had no size last mm-hmm. year. And we think we've addressed, for the most part, most of that. So that's the main thing, getting size, and we had to add a few shooters to the program, and we've done that. So I think we're going in the right direction, but we got a ways to go.
So how has recruiting been since you took over?
It's been good. Surprising. We've been in some battles and we've won. We've gotten some good kids to come into the program along with the kids that's already there. So recruiting for us is a fit more so than a lot of people want to say the name. You want to get that highly named person. Mm-hmm. For me, it's a fit. Being in the programs I've come from, especially like at Georgetown, you had to have a certain type player to play mm-hmm. at Georgetown.
Right.
Then when I went to Maryland, you had to have a certain type player to play at Maryland. So both programs have taught me more so don't chase a name, chase a fit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, Coach, let me ask you, style-wise, I read a quote that you want to play like the old Georgetown Hoyas, the Hoya paranoia.
I would love to play like that.
Are you going to try to implement that style of play and then find players to fit,
yes.
That type of
Yes, we
system?
want to play 94 feet. We want to guard you from once you get off the bus to once you leave to go back, pat you on the back when you leave. So we want to play that way from a defensive standpoint. And from an offensive standpoint, I just love the way, during my tenure and my time with Coach Thompson III, the way, the synchronizing of how we played. I love that. And I want to use some of the things that we did at Maryland as well.
That's what I was going to ask you about. So you've studied under greats, coached under greats like Will Jones. You've had Jeff Jones, mm-hmm. Art Perry. Mm-hmm. You mentioned JT3, and of course JT II is a big mentor of yours as well. Yeah. Talk about how you've going to borrow a little bit from each one of those styles and still make it into your own.
And then you forgot one of my closest coaches that I've coached under here at GW, Carl Hobbs.
Yeah, Carl Hobbs. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm very close to him, mm-hmm. and I like to take some stuff from Coach Hobbs. All of them are very different. Mm-hmm. All of them are very good. Now, the best out of all of them by far was Will Jones. Okay. Let's not make a mistake with that. Will Jones, him and Eddie Myers have taught me a lot about mm-hmm. this game and still teaching me. Eddie Myers is. Mm-hmm. Now, when you come back and you talk about the John Thompsons, the third, mm-hmm. and Carl Hobbs, Jeff Jones, Art Perry, Tyrone Hart, those guys all had a way that I try to take from all of them. Not just one, but all of them had an impact on, what I've been trying to do.
Coach, let me add another question in here. rule changes, the three-point line being moved back.
That doesn't help
That,
us.
well, I was going to ask you, as far as philosophically, will that offensively make you go inside more and maybe post people up? Because a lot of basketball now is with nobody in the post.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people have gone to the 5-out. You know, they want to emulate the Golden State Warriors. You know, basketball goes in cycles. Like when we were younger, it was a big man game. Now it's more of a guards game. And the way we want to play, a lot of times we want to make our defense our offense. And dealing with the personnel that I've inherited and some that I brought in, we probably are not the greatest three-point shooting team, but we'll be an average three-point shooting team. Like this new rule really helps Maryland. Some of the guys that's on that team is shooting-wise is incredible.
Right.
And I got to give Coach Turgeon his due. He recruits to his system, which will make him successful this year. So we have to play what's going to make us successful going into this year. And I don't think the three-point line helps us from the guys that we have. Now, it's not going to hurt us. Now, you got to guard us, but it's not like we're going to put out 5 guys that can really, really shoot it like that. Now, we've brought in a few that can, so will help us.
What about defensively with the line moving out? How are you guys?
Oh,
You
we're going
think
to pressure.
That's going to help? Okay.
That's not going to change the way we play defense. That line, long as we can play inside the 94 feet, we're going to be pressuring.
Okay.
So those lines around on the side, inbounds, anytime you're inbounds, we're going to put pressure on you.
Okay.
That's our plan.
That's what I like.
Now, Kevin, this is your second go-round as a head coach. You took a Binghamton program that was not in a powerhouse area like the DMV,
Right.
and within 2 years you won the conference. What are you looking at in comparing those two tasks? How big of is the journey that you see here as compared to Binghamton, and how are you going to apply those lessons to help you in this venture?
You know, it's hard because it's funny you asked that. I was talking to someone, they asked me, did you see that coming when you said, I didn't. Midway through the year, if you'd have told me we were going to win it, I'd be like, don't bet on that. And it's hard to tell at this point of what you got, especially for me. I don't really know the MEAC as well yet. I've saw some things and some people. We played against a few teams from year to year, but it's a different breed of basketball. Now, it's still basketball. It's 94 feet. You play 20 minutes half, so it's the same, but just strategically it's different probably than coming from the Big East or the Big Ten or the America East. When we did it at Binghamton, a lot of luck happened. You know, we had gotten rid of some of our best players during that year, and we still won. And one of our best players that we had not played that year. People don't know that. They see DJ Rivera, he scored 20 points a game. But Sean, I'm drawing a blank of his last name, was our best player, him and Corey Chandler. Corey Chandler was sitting out, and Sean was hurt for most of that year with a back injury. And he would have been our best player.
Right. So what do you look at in terms of trying to create the atmosphere there? Because the facilities for MEAC School are phenomenal at Morgan State. What do you look, I mean, it's not that compared to the Comcast Center, Xfinity Center, but what are you looking for to try to get the students involved to create more of a home court advantage?
Well, you know, winning brings that. Winning is the thing that brings the students and the entrance into the program. So we want to win early. You know, we want to bring all the students. We want to bring administrations, everybody that's affiliated, even the public, the people,
the
community.
The Morgan State band, Coach, I'm telling you. I love broadcasting when the band is there. Because like when they go on break, you know, they're gone for, when they're there, it just creates a college atmosphere.
Right, right.
It's a wonderful thing.
And, you know, we want the community to come out as well. We want them involved, and we want people, the kids just growing up in the area to come out, and the professors. We want everyone involved that's around Morgan. You know, we want you guys to come out to
I'll be there.
I'll be
I'll be sitting
definitely
across
be there.
from
Sean Watson was his name. It was driving me crazy. Couldn't remember. That kid was special, and he went to Morgan for a week. I didn't know that until I got there.
Wow.
So what's your philosophy coming from a Power 5 to a MEAC school on the money games? Do you have many that you inherited on your schedule?
We have a good number. We're playing at Temple, playing at LaSalle. We're playing at GW. We're playing in a couple of tournaments, one in the Bahamas.
I saw Ohio State on the schedule.
Ohio State, we just got them. Todd did a good job of scheduling, you know, strategically not playing someone that could. They all can beat you.
Right.
Let's not make a mistake. They all can beat you. But we can win those games too.
Right.
And we've proven before when I was, like you said, I don't want to keep talking about the past, but I know that's a part. One thing is the past is my past. I get that. Now, we went and we won at Rutgers. We won that same year at Tulane. We beat St. Bonaventure that year. And we beat GW one of those years. So, you know.
Well, in the past, Coach Bozeman, he knocked Maryland off.
Oh, I remember.
So,
yeah, I remember.
so is that something that, you know, as you build the program, maybe Georgetown, Maryland get on the schedule again?
You know, I have a bittersweet thing about that. When I was at Binghamton, we played GW. In a sense, it was one of the reporters asked me about the game. I said, yeah, it was our biggest win, but the feeling I had after the game didn't feel that way because that was my best friend in this business.
Right.
And he was my former boss. And that's not something I look forward to. Like when I left, I didn't plan on playing GW or Georgetown. And I had a chance this year to play Maryland. I could have played Maryland, but I decided not to because it's not a good feeling winning, and it's not a good feeling losing. So for me, it is no satisfaction in playing like Maryland, Georgetown, GW is different now, or Old Dominion, Jeff Jones, is no satisfaction, you know. So.
Well, you've been able to recruit everywhere. So what's your pitch here? We're in the DMV. What's your pitch here about your program and Morgan State in particular to recruits in the area?
I mean, I can't give you that because then my rivals didn't know what to say. I can't give you everything. But, you know, we're going to recruit some guys that, like we've just brought in, that we think that's better than the MEAC.
Right. Okay.
Let's, you know, put it like that. And we think they can play at higher levels. And there was 3 or 4 of the guys we brought in have played at a higher level. And we just hope, like I told them, just because you're here don't mean people are going to lay down on you and think, you know, you're super, so we're not going to. They're going to play you harder.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
you're going to do recruiting locally?
Oh, yeah. We've brought in a few local kids this past recruiting class. So,
But Coach, you can also, you know, prior to you coming on board, young man Tywan Kenley and Phil Carr a couple years back on Coach Bozeman's squads both made the G League. So the dream is to get to the next level. You can still sell that dream coming out of the MEAC because a lot of people don't think, you know, that's possible.
You can be playing in Taiwan, they're going to find you. There's no more
if you're good enough,
there's no more hidden secrets out here. When you play basketball, it's a national, international, it's everywhere now. You can go play down the street on the parking lot. If you're good enough, someone's going to whisper to someone, and someone else is going to find out, and they're going to say, he can play for us.
And you got a scholarship at Morgan State for him.
No doubt.
Well, congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending some time with us.
Appreciate it.
Progress throughout the season.